From the 2023 Positive Approach to Care Conference led by Teepa, where the puzzle of dementia is being tackled collectively, this is my interview with Allyson Schrier, co-founder of Zinnia. Zinnia Technologies was formed in 2019 in response to co-founder Allyson Schrier's experience as a dementia family caregiver, inspired by the lack of available TV programming that was engaging for and digestible by people living with dementia. Allyson joined forces with the former designer of Apple's Memories product. Together, they have created an app for connected TVs and mobile apps that delivers a library of more than 200 videos that function as a non-pharmacological tool to create connections, reduce and soothe anxiety, and help with the activities of daily living. Allyson and I have previously recorded a podcast together that I will include in our episode description for you to go back and listen to. But one of my favorite things to do is being able to reconnect with my guests and share more about what they were up to. And Allyson and I happened to be at the Teepa conference together, which is meaningful to both of us. We talk about why the organization is so dear for both of us, the work of the organization has done for each of us. We also give a shout out to Jimmy Zolo and talk about the collaboration between Joe and Bella and Zinnia, what is happening in that space, and more about Allyson's journey as being a family caregiver. And when it's time to place your loved one in a care community, different questions to ask around dementia care and how we need to supplement with training. And so there's a rich education foundation for those that are serving the older adults and people in our lives. I love any time I get to spend with Allyson, and it's an honor to share about Zinnia. Here's my conversation with Allyson Schrier. I have with me a friend, someone now that has become a friend, and a former guest. We are live at the Positive Approach to Care Conference with Teepa, Allyson Schrier, president and co-founder of Zinnia.
That's me.
That's you. Thank you. We've had the pleasure of we met in person for the first time. Was it a couple weeks ago?
It was at the Leading Age Conference in Chicago.
It was. How was that conference for you?
It was good. It was really good. I would say that we connected more with other vendors, which we are in this amazing community of people who really work to help each other succeed. So that was really lovely. And connections kind of across different spaces. So I liked it quite a bit.
It was. And it was large. It was huge. It was huge. The exhibit hall, I think I heard that exhibit hall, and maybe even in the older adult senior living world, is one of the largest in the country.
I could believe that. Yeah. I mean, it really felt like it was large enough to land an airplane in.
Yeah, I agree.
It was vast.
It was. So the opportunity, there were so many people doing amazing work. And you're right, when we meet with other providers, partners, it also gives us ideas for collaboration and innovation, which you're experiencing because you've had that with one in particular, which is also a former guest of mine, Jimmy Zolo, founder of Joe and Bella.
Yes.
Tell us, how did that collaboration come to be, and what does that look like, uniting Joe and Bella and Zinnia?
Yeah, thank you for asking about that. So we love Joe and Bella. Their clothes are, they work with Lululemon to develop their clothing line. Once upon a time when my husband, when I was caring for my husband and he needed adaptive clothing, the stuff that was available was really just kind of embarrassing for him to be seen in. It was awful. And so when I look at what Joe and Bella are producing, I think, oh man, like I would wear those. Yeah. And in fact, I am wearing those.
Actually, at the moment.
Right at the moment. So what happened is that we were collaborating with Joe and Bella in that we were really interested in creating a Zinnia-style video that celebrates people whose work we love.
Right.
And so we created a Joe and Bella video, which we have both pushed on social media just to kind of show like, hey, I love you, you love me.
Yeah.
Let's sort of collaborate in whatever ways we can. So we ran into Jimmy Zolo from Joe and Bella at the Leading Age conference. And I said, you know what, I'm going to be at the PAC conference next week. I would be totally down for wearing a pair of your pants. And Nicole, read my sign, my name tag.
Yep, Allyson Schrier, ask me about my pants. And people are.
People are. And so I'm wearing this beautiful pair of Joe and Bella pants, which nobody knows
No, they're
are
beautiful,
adaptable in any way, except they unzip down the sides. They're really comfortable to move in. And I have their brochures at my table. And they sent 2 pairs of pants to me at the conference, and the other pair I have donated on their behalf for the fundraiser for the Teepa Snow Foundation.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I love that. Makes me so happy when it comes together for the greater good. Truly, nothing
Absolutely.
better.
Well, and I scored a really cool pair of pants.
You
so.
did. And they look really good on you. Really good on you. So now we're here in North Carolina at
Yes.
the PAC Teepa Snow Conference. How are you enjoying it so far? I know that this organization is dear to both of us. What does it mean to you?
Sure. So while I was caring for my husband, I started doing PAC training. So somebody had turned me on to Teepa. I looked at some of her videos and I thought, man, I think I'll be better at what I'm doing if I really figure this stuff out. So I did my coach training, and then I did trainer training, and I did consultant training, and then I also earned a certification to teach their family caregiver program. And so I just loved it. So I really feel like these are
Your
my
people.
people, and they have been for a long, long time. I have come to every one of their conferences, including the ones that were held virtually. Last year was the first year that I actually had a table here for Zinnia, and I have this amazing connection with a number of Teepa's folks who work for PAC, who also are caregivers, and they use Zinnia to support their families. And so they have been just really wonderful touchstones for me. They have been able to give advice about what videos are just screaming and working great for them, and which videos they would like to see modified. And we at Zinnia are incredibly agile, and so we make changes based on things that we hear from end users. But to have those end users be people who are so steeped in how to support people living with dementia, I just love it.
Oh, incredibly valuable. They're the day in and the day out. And then with Teepa, right, having the training and perspective, it equips us and you in your moment of need, and actually in all of our interactions when we have those relationships with our older adults, to feel that we're capable of providing the best care that we can in those moments.
Yeah, absolutely. And my background as having been certified in the Teepa world has really informed what we do with Zinnia. You know, a lot of the stuff that we're doing really directly speaks to PAC skills. And I always feel a need to be really, like, full disclosure that this year, for the first time, I didn't recertify because I'm just so busy with Zinnia.
Right, growing a mission and a presence. And your CEO, Bill
Unowski.
He is a wonderful networker and collaborator and supporter of so many people in this space. And the two of you teaming up together, developing those relationships and really growing Zinnia from the ground up. And it's been remarkable to kind of be, you know, on the outside a little bit, but watching the growth and how people just fall in love with the platform and the value that it brings, not only for family caregivers in their home, but also there's a large presence working in communities and supporting senior living, which even as family members, our loved ones are living in environments and we want them to have the best care and the best engagement possible. So I always say too, we have agency as families to request when we want to see things that are happening and we want to see things that are present. So if you have a loved one that lives in a community, ask for Zinnia to be there and to be present.
Yeah, absolutely. It does make a difference. And it makes a difference both for the super stressed out, understaffed care providers as well as for the residents.
Yeah.
And then we also have communities that use Zinnia as a tool to facilitate visits between family members.
I love that.
And their loved ones who are in care. So, yeah.
Right. And also facilitate activities of daily living, right?
Yes.
So the video, right, drinking water, brushing
Yes.
teeth, and how valuable is that? When I was in college, I don't know if you know this, I worked as a registered nursing assistant, and then I worked as a medication care manager. So I had all of these moments of really providing direct hands-on care. And that would have been so helpful in those
It
moments.
would. We even have a video that is time to take medications.
Yeah.
And so the idea with all of these ADL videos, whether it's eating, getting dressed, bathing, using the toilet, is that we watch together and it normalizes the thing that we're about to do, because we have images of lots of people taking their medication, being given their medication, and they're doing it. And so it allows us to say, whoa, maybe this would be a good time for us to do this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And how are you hopeful for this next year and growth of supporting the dementia care community, the Teepa Snow organization, Zinnia? What do you see coming up for you?
I think that I do think that there's sort of a sea change happening in a recognition that, especially within memory care, that there is vast room for improvement.
Right.
And that improvement has to do not just with the tools that we employ, like Zinnia being one of those tools, but also the way that we train and treat our staff. And I think that the approach with the conference this year is very much about organizations and how do organizations adopt these skills, both organizationally, how do we treat each other within the organization, but how do we also learn these skills to be able to better support each other as well as our residents. And I think that like everything, it's about just kind of getting the word out there and having people understand that there are alternatives. I think that if I were looking for a community for my loved one these days, one of the questions I would ask is, do you have staff that are trained to use the positive approach to care? Because that is, it makes such a huge difference in how residents live their lives. It really, really does. So I'm hopeful that more family caregivers, family care partners, will be curious and will not only watch Teepa videos, man. Her TikTok stuff is amazing, and she's got lots of YouTube videos. But also, when it is time to place a loved one in care, to absolutely talk to the community and encourage them to train their staff appropriately.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
And speaks to the agency we have to request and to ask and say,
yes, we do.
What are you putting in place and how are you supporting my loved one?
Yeah.
And to be able to see that.
I live in Washington State, and there the requirement is that people go through CNA training. And so I think that family members just sort of assume that the staff is trained to support people living with dementia. But there is woefully little actual training about how to support people with dementia in the CNA programs.
Yeah.
And so it is up to the care communities to supplement with training that teaches them actual hands-on skills that allow them to better support the residents. And you know what? With Zinnia, one of the things that we always say is if the person living with dementia is happy, the care partner is happy, the caregiver is happy. And I think the same thing is true in more community-based institutional settings, is that if we are able to bring joy to the residents, well, my gosh, that brings joy to the staff.
It is, and it's going to make those daily interactions and our lives and bring and pull out that joy. And who does not
Oh
want
my
that? Who
gosh.
does not want that?
I know.
Yeah, that job
Yeah.
satisfaction, if you're really looking at it in that way too and supporting that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. This has been so fun.
Thank you. It's so wonderful to see you here. And I love that you're part of this broader community that I am also a part
I
of.
am too. I know our worlds are they'll be colliding a lot.
Yes. Intersecting.
I like that. That's too better. Intersecting. Colliding is like, okay, force for good. We'll manifest that. But yes, intersecting
Yeah.
and supporting. And you know that I just value the work that you do, and I'm so happy to support you guys. So
It's
thank
very
you.
mutual.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Nicole.
Thank you. Thank you for listening today. If you enjoyed our episode, please subscribe and give us 5 stars. In all honesty, we'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for listening to our episode.